Alright, today on the Datsun project, we're going to be sandblasting the car.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I'm going to show you, I got this sandblasting kit off of Amazon. It's a wet sandblaster, so it should clean up all this a whole lot better than that sander did, and even that anti-rust spray. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And here we go.
So here's the pressure washer. It's a pretty good one. 4,400 psi, 4 gallons a minute. And here we have some abrasive picked up at Harbor Freight. I'm hoping this is going to be enough because this stuff is pretty expensive. It was like $70 a bucket. But this is the abrasive that's going to be sucked up by the hose. Not that hose. It's actually, I haven't opened this yet, but here's a little kit. Little kit I bought off Amazon. I'll have to open it up, but it's a wet sandblasting kit. So we'll see how well it works. Hopefully I can get the whole thing done.
It's been a long time, but back to action!
Okay, so here's probably 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes worth. It's weird, it's like it gives it a rough finish, but it's not quite like smooth, I would say. It's like there's this green film. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's very strange. Almost looks oily. I don't know if it's like the Bondo. Might be the Bondo. But yeah, it just didn't really get it as clean as I would have thought. Still pretty good. Wonder if like a different abrasive is what I need to use, because that used almost a full bucket for just that little spot. And each one of these buckets are like $70 a bucket, so I'm definitely not gonna be doing the whole thing with this stuff. 70 grit blast media. Wonder if I can just use like sand, like bags of sand. That might be the ticket, but I don't even know how much is a bag of sand. Anyways, that's what I did so far. I don't really like the finish, so I'm probably not even gonna use that other bucket. I'm probably just gonna return it. But I'd like it to be, like I've seen people do it and it's like a bright, looks like completely bare metal. Yeah, this is weird, like the weird finish on this. Not the biggest fan of. Anyways, I'm gonna probably just clean up here and kind of fix everything up. Maybe let the car dry out here overnight and maybe figure something else out. Probably pick up a bag of sand maybe tomorrow. I'll sandblast it with that and kind of do a little comparison. But yeah, that's what I got so far. We'll see what the sand does. Alright, so today we're going to be using a sander, which I used a little bit and I kind of got little spots done. But I got a little bit more aggressive wheel and I think I can get the majority of all the paint off. Paint, Bondo, or whatever this red stuff is. I don't know if that's like just like an epoxy layer primer or what it is, but I think I can get it all off that wheel. I've been using, kind of off camera, forgot to turn the camera on, but I've been using like an acid etching solution to try and get the rust off of the hood. I think there's even a layer still on there. I sprayed one last final layer to kind of eat up, and all these little areas where you see like the white, I think that's where the rust was, and it's just kind of bubbling up and kind of oxidizing where the rust is. So I'm gonna wash that off. But yeah, I mean, it seemed to turn out pretty good. Looks like it's getting down to pretty much bare metal, which that's what I'm kind of going for. Just trying to get it down to bare metal and so I can really see what I'm working with. But yeah, we'll get started.
Start your engine!
Okay, so I ran into a little bit of a snag. So in order to get this off, you need a pretty big socket. And this 1.1 inch, about the base one I've got. So it's not quite big enough.
That's what she said.
But I did get, hey, to disconnect these hoses. Okay, if I can speak right.
Jose.
disconnect these hoses from, I think if I just undo this bolt, and then I think it's just bolted down right here, I have the whole Hikis system undone, which the Hikis system is like a, what it does is it can adjust the rear tires left or right just a little bit, almost like rear wheel steering. It was kind of cool at the time when it came out, but for this car, I don't really think I want it. It's just kind of a overly complicated system for a little bit of handling performance that this car's just not going to do. A lot of the drifters, they really like taking it off because, you know, they can have predictable performance when they're drifting around the track. But so yeah, I'm gonna get I'll just have to order a bigger socket, and hopefully it gets here right away. Then I'll probably just get this off right now. We'll see. Hopefully it goes pretty smooth, but you never know. But let's get back at it. Okay, this is what it looks like before. I'm going to do a whole disassembly of the whole thing, and that's going to happen right now. And here we go, all disassembled. So we got all the parts here. Frame, I just got to get these bearings out. There's 4 of these bearings, which I've heard is very difficult to get out. I have a bearing pulling kit that I bought on Amazon. We'll see if it makes it easy, but from what I've seen, other people who have done it, they said it's just very difficult to get those 4 bearings out. But yeah, everything else came out pretty easy. Rear diff, this axle right here stuck pretty good inside of there. Tried beating on this with a rubber mallet, trying to get it out, and the other one came out pretty easy. I sprayed some WD-40 with the, I guess, the penetrator style. Some of this stuff. Sprayed it in there, and I'm gonna let it sit for a bit and try smacking it again with that mallet and see if it comes out. But if not, I might have to get. I'm pretty sure they make like a bearing puller type deal that bolts to this, and then you can tighten it up, and then it pushes the axle out. But I think I'll probably be able to get it with just beating on it with a mallet. But I have to, oh, well, I guess there's 2 other bearings too. I gotta pop these bearings out too. But once I get those out, I'm gonna send this to get probably Cerakoted. I'm gonna see if I can Cerakote it instead of powder coat it. A lot of people, they just have it powder coated. But I think Cerakoting, it's a tougher finish, and I think you can do like a bunch of cool colors. Probably gonna do like a burnt bronze. But yeah, I'm gonna start working on getting those bearings out, and I'll show you guys progress once I get it out. Okay, so I got all the bearings out except for these 2. I figured I'd record me getting these 2 out, but got these back 2, the big ones out. And looking online, it seems like a bunch of other people, they would try like melting the rubber out, and then like taking a hacksaw and trying to cut all the way down the side, or possibly even 2 sides of this thin inner sleeve, and then kind of hammer it so it bends in on itself. I have this bearing puller kit. Basically, you got your threaded rod, and then it has this like nut with a, looks like a thrust bearing on the bottom. And then you have the other side that you put on top with the bearing in the middle. and it helps press it out. You'll see exactly how it works when I do these two. But it seemed to work pretty good. Trying to use like the hacksaw method to cut out the thin, this basically slides in there, they pound it in there, and trying to cut the thin wall of this bearing without damaging the thin wall on the outside of this holder on the subframe. I was too scared to do it. You know, accidentally cutting through and damaging that would just be horrible. You'd have to weld it up, and even then it might change the tolerances and make it really hard to push other bearings in there, or bushings I should say. But yeah, I'll set up the camera and I'll show me getting this one out at least. And you guys can see, I'll probably do a time lapse so it doesn't take too long, but you'll see the process. I take let me just explain. I take the drill and I drill out to get the middle piece out. Then there's a little lip on the top here. So that's what really prevents people from using these bearing pullers, is this little lip on the top. But I just take the grinder and I grind that lip off, and then I can use the bearing puller. So you'll see when I use it right now. So the upper two ones were way easier to get out than these ones. I haven't even got it out yet, but what I'm noticing that's different is you can almost see about three different like metal rings inside of the lower ones, which is like way different. Maybe it's just two. Maybe it's just like the cracked lip part, but yeah, there's like two metal sleeves inside of this one. So what I'm planning on doing is probably going and getting a saw and cutting out the inner ring, and then I think the most outer ring before the outer sleeve here will press out pretty easy. But yeah, I put all the pressure I possibly could on that bearing puller and it was not budging at all. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut out the inner ring, and then hopefully the other one will just push right on through. Okay, so here's the entire rear subframe. All the bushings out already. It's Saturday right now, so Monday, first thing Monday, I'm going to take that to go get sandblasted and then Cerakoted. And in the meantime, I'm going to clean up. I made quite the mess, and probably pop these two stubs out. I'm gonna have them, there's this company called Villains. They're up in Washington State, and they're going to, what they do is they give a different axle stub that's a little stronger, and you can attach 370Z axles to these rear R32 GTR rear diffs. And the 370Z axles are just a lot cheaper and apparently a whole lot stronger. So I'm shooting for about 550 horsepower for this project, and I've heard people say that the rear axles on the R32s, they start snapping right around 500, so it'd be nice to get these swapped out. Then I'm gonna probably pull the cover on this, drain the oil, and just kind of check the gears in the back here, make sure they're doing good. Yeah, then I'll even clean this up and get it painted too. I'm not sure. I haven't decided what color I'm going to do the transfer case or the differential, but yeah, that'll be a problem for another video. Anyways, see you guys later.